You feel it, don't you? That quiet tension when someone else walks into the room and suddenly commands all the attention. When people you work harder than keep climbing higher? Or when trust turns to betrayal and you're left asking, how did I not see it coming? It's not just about success. It's about power. And whether we admit it or not, power is the currency of life. In relationships, at work, in society, it's always at play. Sometimes loud and aggressive, other times quiet and cunning. But make no mistake, those who understand it wield it. Those who don't get played. This isn't a book summary. It's a transformation. A journey through the darkest truths of human behavior and influence. In this first part, we'll uncover 12 of the most dangerous, controversial, and powerful laws ever written, strategies that have shaped kings, CEOs, cult leaders, and con artists alike. Some will shock you, some will empower you, but all of them will change the way you see people and yourself. So take a breath and step into the world where nothing is what it seems, where masks are worn and manipulation is an art form. This is The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. And once you understand the game, you'll never see the world the same way again. Let's begin. Welcome to the world of Robert Greene, the author who dared to lift the veil on power's secret rules. Greene wasn't born into power. In fact, by his mid-30s, he had worked almost 80 different jobs, from construction sites to Hollywood sets. In each of these roles, he noticed the same patterns. How some people manipulated, how others fell victim, how ambition and fear danced in whispers behind polite smiles. This lifelong observation, combined with his deep dive into 3,000 years of history, led him to distill 48 essential principles of human power. He poured into this book the cunning of ancient courts and the boardrooms of today, all to uncover the game being played around us. Why does this matter now? Because power is everywhere, not just in politics or war, but in your office, your friendships, even your family dynamics. In an age of social media and office politics, knowing these laws is like having a map in a minefield. Greene's message is that power itself is amoral, neither good nor evil. It's a tool, and it's being used all the time, whether you want to join in or not. By understanding these laws, you gain two things. First, you arm yourself against manipulation. No more naively playing by the rules while others cheat. Second, you learn how to assert influence ethically and strategically, to stand your ground or lead with intention. Stick with me until the end, and you'll gain a personal guidebook to human nature, a way to read between the lines of people's actions. You'll see how each law can apply to your life. From dealing with a difficult boss, to handling jealousy among friends, to making sure your kindness isn't taken for weakness. We'll explore each law's strategic power and its moral shadow, so you decide how to use it or whether to use it at all. By the end, you might just find yourself thinking differently about the conflicts and decisions in your world. And when that next tricky situation arises, you won't feel powerless. You'll recall these lessons, and you'll know what to do. Now, take a deep breath and step into this journey. The stage is set, the curtain is lifting. Let's uncover the 48 laws of power. Law 1. Never outshine the master. At the dawn of power, the first lesson is simple. Do not outshine those above you. Imagine you're a brilliant apprentice with a galaxy of talent, working under a superstar boss. You might think, if I work really hard and show my genius, I'll be appreciated. But Law 1 warns that shining too bright is a mistake. In a royal court of old, a clever minister throws a lavish festival to impress his king, only to be cast into the dungeon because the king felt eclipsed. In modern life, this could be you sharing a fantastic idea in a meeting, only to sense your supervisor's smile stiffen. Why? Because when you outshine the master, you ignite their insecurity. They may feel you threaten their status. The strategy here is not about dimming your light forever. It's about letting your superiors shine first. Compliment their achievements, let them take the spotlight, and they will feel secure, even generous toward you. It might mean holding back a clever joke so your boss can get the laugh, or allowing them to mentor you publicly even if you already know the ropes. This isn't sycophancy. It's survival and wisdom. Emotionally, this law addresses that anxious feeling you get around someone you want to impress. Instead of over-impressing, make them feel impressive. The payoff? They'll lift you up, not strike you down. Protect your advancement by managing the ego above you. Make those above you feel safe and brilliant, and in time they may open the door for your brilliance too on their terms. But be cautious. If you're naturally charismatic and can't help but outshine, it might be wiser to find a different stage than stand under a master who'll resent you. Law 2. Never put too much trust in friends. Learn how to use enemies. We all crave trust and camaraderie, but Law 2 delivers a hard truth. Friends can betray. Think of a time you relied on a close friend in a project or told them a secret, only to sense envy or disappointment creep in. It's a gut-wrenching feeling. This law isn't telling you to abandon friendship. It's urging you to open your eyes. Friends often share the same weaknesses and envies we do. Closeness can breed complacency or jealousy. Meanwhile, a former enemy or rival, ironically, has more to prove. They have no illusory comfort of friendship to lean on. If they pledge loyalty, they often mean it because they stake their pride on it. History is rife with examples. A king befriends a noble only to be betrayed, whereas an enemy knight who swore fealty fought to the death out of honor. In your life, maybe that friend you got a job recommendation for started slacking, while a one-time office rival, once brought on board, goes above and beyond to show their worth. The emotional struggle here is betrayal versus loyalty. It hurts to suspect a friend, but it's even worse to be blindsided by one. Strategic value. Be careful of blind trust. Don't show all your cards even to friends. Keep some professional distance. And if you need help, consider that sometimes an enemy might serve better. They'll be upfront. And your partnership starts with clear terms, not fuzzy feelings. However, moral caution. Using enemies and doubting friends can make you cynical. This law challenges your faith in loyalty. The key is balance. Trust others, but trust human nature more. People act out of self-interest and emotions, friend or foe. Rely on others wisely. Cherish your friends, but don't be naive about their flaws, and don't dismiss someone just because they once opposed you. An enemy-turned-ally can become your most steadfast supporter, precisely because they chose to be on your side. Law 3. Conceal your intentions. Have you ever blurted out your plans too early and watched them fall apart? Maybe you told a colleague your big career move, and suddenly office gossip undercut it. Or you confessed your feelings to someone before they were ready, and it pushed them away. Law 3 taps into that relatable regret. The cost of being an open book. It advises that to gain power or achieve your goals, keep your intentions hidden. Think of your plan as a delicate seedling. Expose it to harsh weather too soon, and it withers. In practice, this means don't spill your strategy to everyone. If you're aiming for a promotion, don't announce, "I'm going for the manager's job" at the lunch table. Instead, quietly build support. If you're negotiating a deal, never let the other side know exactly what you really want. Lead them to think you want something else so they don't guard against your true goal. People naturally trust appearances, so give them a bland, harmless story while your true intentions grow in the shadows. It's a bit like a magician's misdirection. Wave one hand so they don't watch the other. Emotionally, this law addresses our impulse to trust and share. We want to be transparent, to be understood. But Greene warns that too much honesty early on is a vulnerability. By concealing your intent, you protect your dreams from premature criticism and sabotage. Reflective question. Have you ever noticed how revealing your plan sometimes invites others to poke holes in it, or even steal it? Perhaps it's time to move in silence until the moment is right. Moral aspect. This can feel deceptive, and indeed it is a form of deception. You must decide where to draw the line. Concealing intentions for privacy and protection is wise. Using it to actively deceive innocent people is where shadows lengthen. Reveal only what's necessary. Until your goals are ready to be unveiled, guard them behind a friendly mask. You owe the world results, not explanations. Law 4. Always say less than necessary. Words are power, but using too many can backfire. Have you ever spilled your heart in an argument, thinking a flood of words would convince the other person, only to find you've said too much and made things worse? Or maybe in a meeting, you kept talking to fill the silence and later kicked yourself for revealing an uncertainty. Law 4 speaks to that familiar foot-in-mouth anxiety. The law, say less than necessary. In the presence of others, especially those you need to impress or influence, brevity breeds respect. The more you say, the more common and weak you appear. The less you say, the more mysterious and powerful you seem. Imagine a CEO who speaks only in measured, calm sentences versus a nervous manager who rambles, who commands more respect. Silence or a terse reply can unsettle others. They'll scramble to fill the void, often revealing their own thoughts and weaknesses. It's like a poker face. If you don't show your hand, people start second-guessing. Emotionally, this law helps you tackle the urge to over-explain yourself, a habit often born from insecurity or the need for approval. Instead, it gives you permission to hold back, to be comfortable in silence, to listen more. There's subtle power in letting others wonder what you're thinking. Practice it. Next time you feel the need to justify or elaborate unnecessarily, stop at half of what you plan to say. Leave a little silence. And watch. You may notice people lean in, pay closer attention, or reveal more about themselves while trying to guess your mind. Reflective. It can feel uncomfortable to not fill the air. We fear awkward silence. But that silence is a canvas for power. Use your words like a limited currency. Fewer words, higher value. And if you ever doubt this, remember the time someone else's quiet confidence made you feel that they knew more. Moral of the story. Speak with intention, not impulse. Your words will carry farther. Reflect for a moment. Have you caught the pattern in these first laws? They all urge restraint, holding back your brilliance, your trust, your intentions, your words. It might feel counterintuitive, especially if you're used to wearing your heart on your sleeve. You might wonder, is it wrong to be so guarded? But think of it this way, you're learning to protect your value. Like a chess player holding pieces in reserve, you're not being cold, you're being strategic, giving yourself time to see the whole board. Consider how these shifts, a bit more caution here, a bit more silence there, might have changed past situations in your life. Would a boss have treated you differently if you'd let them shine just a little more? Could a friendship have been saved, or a betrayal avoided, if you'd been a touch less trusting or open? These aren't easy questions, but they're powerful ones. And as we move forward, remember, each law is a tool. It's up to you to decide when and how to use it, and in doing so, shape the narrative of your life's power dynamics. Now, on to the next set of laws, building on this foundation of subtle strength. Law 5. Guard your reputation with your life. Your reputation is like a shadow. It precedes you, shapes how people see you, and once stained, it's hard to clean. Think of times when a rumor or a single mistake colored everyone's perception of someone you know, or even of you. It's terrifying how a reputation can make or break you. Law 5 states that so much depends on reputation that you must guard it fiercely. In the game of power, a solid reputation is your armor. It intimidates potential attackers and speaks for you when you're not there. A good name can open doors. A bad one can slam them shut even before you enter. Strategically, this means never take your image lightly. Don't let slander or gossip about you go unchallenged. Address it with truth or overwhelm it with positive actions. Proactively, build a reputation for something desirable. Maybe it's being reliable or being a creative genius or an unflinching leader. Once you have that, protect it. But here's a darker twist. Greene also suggests if you can spot a rival's weak reputation points, you might exploit them to undermine your competition. This is the shadow side. Think of political campaigns smearing an opponent. It's effective if ethically dubious. Emotionally, this law hits our fear of public judgment. In an era of social media, a single embarrassing post can haunt you for years, so it's even more relevant now. But the positive flip side, a strong personal brand, even informally, among colleagues or friends, can amplify your influence without you having to lift a finger. People will defend you in your absence if your rep is solid. Treasure your name. Live and act such that your reputation shines, and quickly snuff out any threats to it. And if you've made mistakes that hurt your image, own them and overcorrect with undeniable integrity going forward. Remember, people don't just react to you, they react to their idea of you. Shape that idea or others will shape it for you. Law 6. Court attention at all costs. In a noisy world, to be invisible is to be powerless. Law 6 boldly declares, be seen. Court attention, whatever it takes. This might sound contradictory after Law 4's say less, but it's about standing out in a memorable way. Throughout history, those who commanded attention, whether through charm, controversy, or spectacle, held influence. If you fade into the background, you hand over the stage to others. Think about those in your life who seem to get whatever they want. Often, they are not necessarily the most skilled, but they make themselves known. They network, they speak up, they even stir a bit of drama when needed. Greene even suggests that infamy can be better than obscurity. Being talked about, even with criticism, means you're relevant. It's like the saying, there's no such thing as bad publicity. Of course, in your life, you probably don't want scandal, but the lesson stands. It's safer to be singled out than to be the person no one remembers. So cultivate an image. Maybe it's your personal style, or a signature project only you could pull off, or a mysterious aura where people never quite know what you'll do next. Mystery, in fact, is a powerful attention magnet. When you're a bit enigmatic, people can't help but be intrigued. Emotionally, this law addresses the fear of being overlooked or forgotten. It encourages you to overcome the timid voice that says, stay in your lane. Instead, dare to step into the light. If you felt invisible or underestimated, consider this permission to break that pattern. Volunteer for the challenge, speak your mind, succinctly, as Law 4 advises, and create moments that people won't forget. But caution, courting attention is a double-edged sword. If done without finesse, it can backfire, coming off as desperate or arrogant. Also, morally, chasing attention for its own sake can lead you to hollow or harmful places. Not every cost is worth paying. So seek attention with purpose, to highlight your work, to advance a worthy cause, or to set yourself apart in a positive way. Be visible. In the grand theater of life, you can't play a role if the audience doesn't know you're on stage. Make them notice, and remember you. Law 7. Get others to do the work, but always take the credit. This law unveils a harsh reality of power. Those at the top often leverage the efforts of others and claim the rewards. It sounds unfair, and it is, but think about famous inventors or leaders who got credit for work done by a team behind the scenes. Thomas Edison, for example, had a whole lab of scientists, yet he's remembered for inventing the light bulb. In your world, have you ever completed a project and a supervisor or teammate basked in the praise while your name was barely mentioned? It stings. Law 7 essentially says, flip that script in your favor. If you can delegate and appropriate, use the knowledge, skills, and efforts of others to further your own goals, and ensure you're recognized as the driving force. From a strategic standpoint, this is about efficiency and image. Why do all the work yourself if you can assemble a capable team, or borrow someone else's expertise and multiply your impact? It's not suggesting you exploit people outright. Ideally, you reward them, privately, or pay them, but you position yourself as the figurehead who orchestrated success. You become the conductor, not the musician, yet you receive applause for the symphony. This frees up your time to focus on higher-level decisions and to plan your next move, while others toil on the details. Emotionally, many struggle with this because it feels like stealing credit. If you're a person of integrity, this law might disgust you. You want to acknowledge everyone's contributions. That's honorable, but realize, in cutthroat arenas, modesty can leave you ignored. Neutral perspective. Consider that taking credit doesn't mean you never credit others at all. It means ensuring your leadership is recognized. You can still appreciate your team, but publicly, make sure the narrative is that you led and made it happen. If you don't, someone else might steal the spotlight from you. Moral consequences. If abused, this law creates tyrants and resentment. Nobody likes feeling used. So a wise practitioner of Law 7 will reward and thank those whose work they appropriate behind the scenes. Keep them happy so they continue to support you. Be the chess master, not the pawn. Coordinate talents around you to achieve great things, and shape the story so you shine. Just remember to show gratitude privately, lest your sources of power decide to disappear or, worse, expose you. Law 8. Make others come to you, use bait if necessary. Imagine a master chess player who always forces the opponent to move into traps, or a spider sitting still while flies come to its web. That's the essence of Law 8. Control the situation by making others approach you. If you find yourself always chasing, whether it's in business deals, relationships, or arguments, you're constantly on the back foot, reacting to their moves. This law says, stop chasing. Set the terms and lure others in. Use bait if you must, meaning offer something that your target wants so they initiate contact or conflict on your terms. In a negotiation, for example, instead of you calling repeatedly with proposals, showing neediness, drop an enticing hint of an opportunity and let them call you. In dating, rather than pursuing relentlessly, cultivate your own attractive life and let the person notice and seek your company. When you make others come to you, you hold the cards. They had to leave their territory and plans to meet yours, which subtly puts them at a disadvantage. You can anticipate their approach and prepare your response, your attack, calmly, while they are responding to the bait you set. Emotionally, this law is about self-control and overcoming impatience. It's hard not to chase what you desire. It feels like if you don't act, you'll lose out. But consider how being too eager has hurt you before. Maybe an employer sensed your desperation and lowballed you, or someone you liked took you for granted because you were always available. By flipping it, you invest in your own position. You quiet that anxious voice and replace it with a confident one. They will come to me when I offer something valuable. You become an oasis in the desert. Those who thirst will travel to you. One more layer. The bait must be sweet. You can't just withdraw and hope people show up. Find what the other party needs or desires and dangle it. Could be money, knowledge, favor, or love. But also be genuine, deceitful bait. A promise you can't keep can destroy your credibility, violating Law 5, reputation. Moral aspect. Luring others can feel manipulative, so use this tactic with care. Ideally, make it a win-win. They come to you and indeed get something they want while you get what you want. Lead the dance. Rather than running after others, step back, set the stage, and invite them in. The one who comes to you enters your arena, and in your arena you are king or queen. Law 9. Win through actions, never through argument. Have you ever won an argument only to realize you actually lost something bigger? Maybe the other person's goodwill or your own dignity. Words can easily provoke ego and resistance. Law 9 suggests a wiser path. Let your actions do the convincing. Instead of trying to batter down someone's opinion with debate, which often just makes them dig in deeper, prove your point by example or silently demonstrate the truth. In essence, talk is cheap. Results are convincing. Imagine a scenario. You're trying to convince your team to adopt a new method. You could argue in meetings for hours, or you could quietly implement a small pilot project showing stellar results and then reveal it. The success speaks for itself. Suddenly, everyone agrees with you. Or think of a personal relationship. Rather than saying, "I'm sorry, I'll change for the 10th time," show them you've changed through consistent behavior. People trust what they see and experience far more than what they hear in a heated moment. An argument can make someone feel cornered and angry, even if you're right. But evidence through action is harder to refute and usually carries less ego bruising. Emotionally, this law is about overcoming the need to be right verbally. Many of us have a hard time letting someone else have the last word. It feels like we lost if we walk away without stating our case fully. But often, walking away and then winning in practice later is far more satisfying and effective. Ask yourself, would I rather be right or achieve my goal? Because an argument can give you the fleeting rush of "I scored a point." But does it actually change anything long term? Usually not. In fact, it may sow quiet resentment. As Greene notes, victory from argument is Pyrrhic, not worth it. Show, don't tell. Reserve your energy for decisive action and let the outcomes do the talking. Not only will you avoid needless conflict, but your victories will likely be more solid and respected. And morally, this is fairly sound. It's advice to not argue people into submission, which respects their dignity. Just be sure your actions truly align with your intent. Manipulating outcomes just to prove a point can backfire if it's not genuine. Win hearts and minds by giving them something undeniable to believe in. Law 10. Infection. Avoid the unhappy and unlucky. This law carries a stark warning. Misery spreads like a disease. Think of negativity, pessimism, or chronic drama as a contagion. If you surround yourself with it, you may catch it. We all know someone who is perpetually unhappy or cursed with bad luck, at least in their own mind. Whenever you hang out with them, perhaps you feel drained, or suddenly your outlook darkens. Law 10 says to be wary of these infectious personalities. In the realm of power, associating with those who constantly lose or brood can pull you down by mere proximity. This sounds harsh, doesn't it? After all, we want to help friends who struggle. But Greene points out that some people create their own unhappiness through bad decisions or a victim mindset, and if you entangle yourself, their misfortune becomes yours. For example, the colleague who is always complaining about how management is out to get them eventually ropes you into their conflicts, and now you're seen as part of the problem group. Or the chronically unlucky friend borrows money and never pays back, and their financial chaos starts affecting your stability. Emotionally, this law forces you to confront your empathic bonds. It can feel cruel to distance yourself from someone due to their negative energy. The key is differentiation. There's a difference between a friend going through a temporary hard time, who deserves support, and a person who lives in a state of self-made misery and pulls everyone under with them. The latter will not truly be helped by you anyway. Often they don't want a solution, just company in their misery. So, as a strategy, surround yourself with positive, successful energies. Optimism and good habits are infectious too. Seek mentors, friends, colleagues who uplift you, who inspire you, who have qualities you aspire to. It's not about using people. It's about being mindful that we absorb the attitudes of those around us. And if you fear you might be the infectious one sometimes, we all can be if depressed or angry. Recognize it and try not to drag others down. Work on curing your own infection. Emotions are contagious. Guard your environment. You don't owe anyone a slow sinking into quicksand. Sometimes, the best thing you can do is gently limit exposure to perpetual negativity. Your own progress and sanity depend on it. This law, applied well, isn't lack of compassion. It's smart self-preservation. Law 11. Learn to keep people dependent on you. Power often lies with the person or thing that others cannot do without. Law 11 teaches, if you want to maintain your independence and influence, never let yourself become dispensable. Instead, cultivate others' dependence on you. In practical terms, this means developing a skill, resource, or quality that people around you desperately need. If at work you're the only one who truly understands the client or the code or the budget, you have leverage. They can't easily get rid of you or ignore your input. In relationships, if you fulfill an emotional need no one else does, that person will stay drawn to you. This might sound like, should I manipulate people into needing me? It's more about making yourself invaluable. For instance, a consultant who becomes the go-to expert in a niche field secures a steady stream of work. Companies depend on her because no one else delivers quite what she does. Or think of a friend group. The one who always organizes gatherings or diffuses tensions becomes the glue everyone relies on. As long as others need something from you, you hold some power. The moment they can get the same thing elsewhere or do it themselves, your influence wanes. Emotionally, this law taps into our desire to be wanted and valued, but it warns against giving away all your know-how. Have you ever trained someone in everything you know only to find they take your spot? Painful. So, keep a few tricks up your sleeve. Teach and share, but not so much that you make yourself irrelevant. It also addresses fear, the fear of being left or bypassed. By making people dependent, you ease that fear because you see your place is secure. Morally, this can slide into exploitation if you're not careful. You shouldn't sabotage others' growth just to keep them needing you. That breeds resentment and is unethical. The ideal is mutual benefit. They rely on you for X, you rely on them for Y. But you maintain a slight edge, an ace they can't play without you. Be irreplaceable. Whether through expertise, reliability, or unique charm, cultivate something that makes the world, or just your little corner of it, lean on you. It's not about power for ego's sake. It's about ensuring your fate isn't at someone else's mercy, because they need you as much as you need them. Law 12. Use selective honesty and generosity to disarm your victim. This law ventures into the arts of deception with a twist of kindness. Selective honesty means you strategically pick moments to be open and truthful, or small instances to be generous, in order to throw people off guard. Why? Because if you have a larger scheme or you need someone's guard down, a sudden act of honesty or kindness can make even the most suspicious person relax and trust you. It's like a wolf showing its soft fur and a wagging tail to appear harmless. The prey comes closer, thinking maybe he's friendly. Consider a scenario. You're negotiating a contract and the other side is wary of you. If you unexpectedly divulge a small truth against your interest, honestly, our company has never done this type of deal before, so we might make a few mistakes. They may take that as a sign of transparency and become more open themselves. Or if someone doubts your intentions, you might do a generous act, like give them a gift or a favor with no immediate ask, which makes them feel, wow, she's so kind, I misjudged her. Meanwhile, your deeper intentions remain hidden behind this facade of sincerity. Emotionally, this law is about charm and cunning. It acknowledges a reality. People who seem totally altruistic or frank can slip past our defenses. You've probably experienced it. A coworker who is normally distant suddenly compliments you or covers for your mistake. You feel grateful and lower your guard around them. Maybe even share information you wouldn't have. Selective honesty is powerful because it's unexpected. Generosity, too, is disarming. We are emotionally wired to reciprocate kindness, to trust those who have given to us. So a calculated gift can buy more than goodwill. It can buy silence, cooperation, or time. However, beware the moral cost. Using honesty and generosity as weapons feels very manipulative. Because it is. This law refers to the other person literally as a victim, indicating a predator strategy. Use it to protect yourself or to create win-win outcomes, not to ruin innocent people. For example, maybe you're in a corporate battlefield with sharks. A timely gift to a rival could become a peace offering that secretly serves your strategy. Here, maybe it prevents conflict rather than sets up a victim. A small, honest gesture can cloak a larger dishonest move. If you ever need to gain someone's trust quickly, give before you take. Just remember, trust is sacred. Wield this law only if the ends truly justify the means for you. In life, being generally honest and generous is good. Being selectively so implies an agenda. Make sure you can live with that agenda. Pause here. We've covered a dozen laws, and the pattern is clear. Power can be a dark, tricky business. You might feel a bit uneasy. Maybe these strategies conflict with your personal values. That's okay. Remember, learning these laws doesn't mean you must embrace them all without question. You might use some to protect yourself rather than to dominate others. Ask yourself, when have I seen these laws in action? Perhaps you recall a time you were charmed by someone's generosity only to realize later they wanted something. That was Law 12 at play. Or the colleague everyone needs, Law 11. They wield quiet power, don't they? As you reflect, you may also feel empowered. Knowledge is power, after all. Even if you choose not to practice some of these laws, knowing them helps you see the chessboard of life with clearer eyes. And that, in itself, is a kind of superpower. You won't be easily fooled or cornered if you recognize the game. Take a breath, digest what we've covered, and steel yourself for the next set of laws. The journey is just getting started, and each law ahead will add new layers of insight into human nature and strategy.